And now let's do a live solve using Onshape. As you guys know, I'm having quite the honeymoon with Onshape, really enjoying learning Onshape every day. I'm just more and more impressed with it. I just got to watch the live stream where they were talking about all the new enhancements that have come out so far this year in Onshape. Very, very impressive stuff. It just continues to impress me just about every step of the way. So very excited about Onshape and learning more about Onshape. And we are going to do a live solve using Onshape 3D modeling to create this model here, the mounting bracket 2. So whenever you are challenged to take a 2D print and turn it into a 3D model, there's kind of a standard playbook that you want to follow, some kind of common things that you want to ask yourself as you're getting started. And the first thing that you want to ask yourself is, where should my origin be located? Now, in order to determine this, you have to ask yourself things like, is the model symmetric? And in the case of this model, yes, the model is symmetric. It's symmetric in two directions. So you can see that the model is symmetric in this direction and symmetric in this direction. So that tells me the origin is probably going to be right here. Then the next question you want to ask is, are there common dimensions that come from the same location? Are there many common dimensions that come from the same location? And in the case of this model here, there are several dimensions that come from this location right here, the center of that boss. Now, this model is a little bit of an anomaly because you've got this 4 dimension that comes from that boss, and then there's a bunch of dimensions that come from this lower face of this tab. And so you kind of have to ask yourself, like, would it be better to have the origin here, or would it be better to have the origin here? But I think that then you're going to get into the question of, what is my very first feature going to be? And a lot of times the first feature that you create in a 3D CAD model is kind of like the foundation for the rest of the model. So in the case of this model here, my very first feature is probably going to be this circle with a flat spot on it that gets extruded. And so with that being the case, I think it's a stronger argument to put the origin here. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, where should my origin be? And to help you determine that, you want to ask yourself, does the model have symmetry? Are there any dimensions that all seem to be going to the same location? Are there any datums that all seem to have the same dimension going to them? That's going to help you locate your origin. And then finally, you want to ask yourself, what does my very first feature look like? What's my first feature going to be? What's the sketch going to be for that first feature? And what sketch plane is that sketch going to land on? So we've already talked about how the first feature is going to be this extrusion here. Now the question is, what's the sketch plane going to be? And I think it's probably going to be the front plane. And then I'll bring this out either as a mid-plane extrusion, or maybe I'll just model half of the model and then I'll go back in and mirror everything at the end. Either way, I'm going to be creating this from the front plane coming out from my very first extrusion. Now, the final thing you're going to want to do is just kind of put together some kind of a game plan, like, what are the next features going to be in this model? So when it comes to the next features in this model, we're going to be looking at things like the initial shape is going to be this main shape here. The next thing is going to maybe be one of these tabs sticking off the side. And you can see that these tabs are a little tricky because they have this draft on them. So maybe what I'll do is I'll create the tab sticking out like this to the depth of 20 millimeters. And then once I have that tab sticking out, then I can go in and add that 8-degree draft on that tab. So I could extrude that tab out, maybe include the hole while I extrude that tab out, add that 8 degrees draft, and then once I've got that tab completed, now I'm ready to start tackling this shape here. So I'm going to be creating that again from the front plane and extruding it out, or maybe extruding it out mid-plane. And then the final feature would just be this kind of rectangular slot that's on the top of the model. So it's always important to look at your model to kind of come up with a game plan before you actually jump into the 3D CAD. And that way you'll have an idea of how you're going to work through your features. Of course, if you encounter something that causes you to change that plan, that's fine. You could always modify on the fly. So I'm going to move that screen capture over onto my second screen. I'm going to jump into 3D CAD here in Onshape, and we are going to get started with this live solve. So let's bring up our brand new keyboard cam. Let's see how we like this here, and let's get into Onshape. So I'm going to say create document. I'll call this 24-07-11-mounting bracket 2. And that way, if anybody wants to search this document, they can get in here and open up and work with this document, you know, the exact document that I'm creating here. Now, to follow my game plan, I'm going to start on the front plane, begin a sketch, orient my view, and then I'm going to do the S key, and I'm going to bring up the circle command, and this circle is going to have a diameter of 55, so I use the auto dimension in Onshape, and then I'm going to create a horizontal line here in Onshape, and I'm going to use the S key to define that that flat spot distance at, what is that flat spot distance? How is it defined? Oh, this is kind of interesting. That flat spot distance is defined by the surrounding geometry. So this just got a little bit more difficult, a little bit more complex. So this is where Onshape can really shine, because it will allow you to create your geometry in a almost layout type fashion. So I could get in here and create this kind of layout geometry here for that upper hook type shape. Let's create a line here. I'm going to say Q to make that line construction. And that way I can take all this geometry here and just mirror it across. And I'm going to be ready now to define those dimensions that are off of the print. So this dimension here is a dimension at 42. So 42 across to there. This wall thickness here for that inner dimension is 8. So this dimension from here to here is 8. And then that gives me the location of that flat spot. I mean, I guess I could have just added those dimensions as well, but since I'm already in here, I may as well just define all the geometry, kind of lay out all this geometry. So that's going to be 14 for that gap up top. So there's that 14 for that gap up top. Let's get that 8 moved over there a little bit. And then we're going to define this thickness here as 8 as well. And usually I will opt to include my my fillet dimensions as part of the actual fillet feature rather than doing them in the sketch, but you could go either way. And then this dimension here is going to be our 50 dimension minus 4. So it's to the bottom of those side tabs minus 4 because we're going to the origin, not to the bottom of those side tabs. So I'll just do 50 minus 4 to give me that 46 dimension. And now that should set me up nicely to create my first extrusion. I guess at this point, you know, since I've already come this far, I may as well include the diameter of the hole here. So 34. And again, those tabs on the side, you know, I could create them now. I could create them as a secondary feature. I don't really like overfilling my sketches. I like it when my sketches are a little bit easier to decipher later on. So, you know, I could go either way on this topic, but I think that that's probably a good place to stop for this sketch. So I'm going to do S key extrude, and once I go into extrude here, I'm going to hit the space bar, because the space bar clears all your selections, and that way I could just choose this region here. And I can say I'm going to extrude that out to a depth of 64 over 2, because I'm only going half the distance because I'm going to mirror this thing at the end. So 64 over 2, and that finishes that extrusion. Let me show that sketch again. I'm going to click on that sketch, S key extrude. I'm going to press the space bar again, so not everything is included, and then I'm just going to click in this region, and those guys are going to go out to a depth of 33 over 2. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I could do S key fillet, and I could say I want to type in a radius here of 6. And that radius 6 is going to go here, and enter. And there we go. That basically takes care of everything that has to do with those top little forks that are sticking out there, those top little clamps. Now, it's always good to rename your features. So I could do Shift N here to rename this. I could call this main flat circle shape. And then for my second feature here, I could do a Shift N. I could call this like upper forks. And then this would be the upper forks fillet. So call it something like fillet, upper forks. I think it's always good to rename your features. It just makes it much easier for you and for your coworkers to navigate through the tree when you're done working on that tree. So now, once again, I could go to the front plane, begin a sketch, orient my view. I could maybe reuse some of this existing geometry. Here I'm using the arrow keys just to kind of rotate the view. So I could reuse some of this existing geometry. Like maybe I could take this edge here and this edge here and do a convert entities. And then from there, I could create my tabs that are sticking out the side here. So this line comes over. Again, I'll save my fillets to the end. I don't think I need to include those fillets right now, but maybe I will include these holes here in the middle. And now I'm going to jump into my smart dimension, and we'll say that the location of that hole, oops, that was a bad dimension. Let Let me take a mulligan there. I could create a smart dimension here that says that the distance from the origin down to this lower leg here is 4, and then the distance from that lower leg to that upper leg there is 30, and then the distance from the lower leg to the center of that hole is 15, and the distance from the hole to the other hole on the other side is 72/2, and the diameter of that hole is 11, and the distance of this leg all the way across to the other side is 90/2. Now, the other way that you could do something like this is you could, let's delete these dimensions here. You could create a center line. So I could create the center line here, and then I could do Q. And then once I create that center line and do Q, then when I go to create my dimensions, I could create a dimension from this line here to the center line and then cross over. See, I could cross over there and then type in the total distance, 90. So I could go from the center of that circle to the center line here, cross over that construction line, and then type in the distance there of 72. So if you know you're just going to create half of the model features and then you're going to mirror them later, then maybe that makes sense to create those double dimensions in the feature. So now I could take this feature here and I could choose to extrude it, and that's going to extrude out to a depth of 20/2. Or as we call it in my house, 10. And then what I could do is I could apply a draft feature to this thing. So draft, and the draft is going to be applied as neutral plane, meaning the draft will start from whichever face I select, and the face will also define the normal angle for the draft. And then the faces to be drafted are going to be this face here, and then the angle is going to be 8 degrees. So Onshape gives me a nice preview of that draft. I think that looks good. And now I can S key fillet, and the fillet here, I'll use the tab key to get down to the radius. The fillet radius here is going to be a radius of 5, and that's going to be on this upper and lower section of that side tab. So now again, we could rename these. We could call this something like side tab. We could call this one draft side tab. And we could call this one something like fillet side tab. So that's Shift N to get into that rename feature. I really think it's important to rename your features as you're going through your models. This also makes it very easy for me to select these features, so 1, 2, 3 features, and select this this plane here. So this is going to be the right plane, and then jump into a mirror command. The only problem is that by default, Onshape puts me into a part mirror, so I need to switch over here to feature mirror. So I guess it actually didn't make it that much easier, although it is easy to pick them from the tree when I do that. All right, and then there's my mirror feature, and there we go. If the feature ever shows up as red, a little trick here in Onshape, you can just click this reapply feature. Without getting into the details of what that does, just for the sake of time, just know that if you ever go to create a pattern or a mirror and it doesn't work, it shows up red, just hit that reapply features. A lot of times that'll resolve it. And so then the final feature on this thing would be my rectangular cut extrude. So this rectangular cut extrude here is going to be 14 by 44. And then we are going to, let's make sure that that is coincident to the origin. I think I missed my coincident there on that rectangle. Yep. So coincident to the origin there. So I'll pick both of those and press I. And then we're going to take that. We're going to do an extrude. This is going to be a remove, and it's going to go up to face. And we'll just take that down to this face here. So we remove that material, and then we'll finish off with our final fillet. So S key fillet, and then tab, tab, tab to get to the radius of that fillet. And that radius is going to be 5 for all 4 of these corners. So this corner and this corner here. And now this time we can actually do a part mirror. So we go mirror, and this is going to be here, and then our mirror plane is going to be here. So we can actually do a part mirror for that one. And that should pretty much do it. We can press P to hide our planes. We can do the final spin, kind of look this thing over. Come down here in the lower left, you can right mouse button and say edit appearance and change the appearance to match the appearance on the print. You don't have to do that, but I like to do that. Come down here, right mouse button, say assign material. And then when we go into assign material, we're going to say that this is going to use the material from the TTT custom materials. And that's going to be the 1060 alloy. So aluminum 1060. And so then if we go to mass properties and we click on this thing, we see we're coming up with a mass here of 337. And so if we return to the presentation here, Model Monday Live presentation, I would type that in. I would say 337, and The correct answer is, oh yeah, 337. We did it. We got it correct. So if you enjoy those types of live solves, if you enjoy those types of tutorials, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And of course, be sure to check out all the great stuff we offer to help you get better with 3D CAD over at TooTallToby.com. And with that, I think we are ready to move into